guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to make apple cider vinegar. I'm going to show you the entire process from start to finish and talk a little bit why fruit flies are a good thing. So the parts that I use the most are the peels and the cores. You can also quarter apples. You want to leave some headspace because it will bubble up and the apples will come to the top. You want to make sure that it doesn't overflow. And then you want to just fill it in with water. Cover the apples. You want to make sure that they're not exposed to the air because bacteria can grow on them, mold can start to grow, and that's definitely not what you want. And then you'll add about a tablespoon of sugar per cup of water that you pour in. I don't usually measure, I just kind of eyeball it. And I tend to err on the side of too much sugar. I like to use coffee filters for this because they allow airflow into your vinegar, but they keep bugs out. All right, so now it's time to put your vinegar away and just let it set. I usually say about 2 weeks is good. But you want to watch for bubbles. The bubbles are a sign that the sugar is turning into alcohol. That's the first fermentation stage. I mean, you can see even after about 2 weeks, it's still bubbling up. There's still a lot going on here. Wherever you keep your vinegar for now, you want to make sure that it's on the warmer side. So about 80 degrees, 75, 80 degrees is good. The colder that it is, the slower the process will be. It'll take a longer time to convert those sugars. So at this stage, the warmer it is, the better. I keep mine in my pantry that's in my kitchen, so it stays pretty warm in there. But I'm gonna go ahead and put this back, and when they're done, I will continue showing you the process. All right, so the apples have softened a lot in this. The sugars have converted to alcohol, which is the first fermentation process. We're gonna strain these out and let that second stage begin, which is where the alcohol converts into acetic acid, which is just a fancy name for vinegar. I'm also going to take some of the mother out of our old vinegar and put it in here to kind of speed things up. Check this out. It's like this gelatinous goop. I'm just gonna put that in there, and that's gonna help develop the mother a lot quicker than it would if we didn't have it. We're just gonna add this, and I'll end up adding some more vinegar as I strain the other ones out, and we'll let that sit for a few days and we'll come back and check on it. So these are gonna be given to our chickens. They're gonna absolutely love it. It's like their favorite treat. Ooh, mother's already starting to develop, which is awesome. You can see that it has the original mother that I put in there, but it's already got its own mother forming. That's great.
Whoa, look at that big fruit.
All right, so you might notice in your mother that there is some little dark spots, some sediment and stuff. That's okay. That's just from not filtering your cider very good. I didn't, and usually I don't really care about all those little things in there. All right, so these two were done on the same day. This one is a little bit cloudier, but that's all right. That's just the way that the mother is developing. It's kind of starting to get thick on the top, but it's really coming along. So at this point, you want to leave the mother alone. You don't want to mess with it. You don't want to push it down. It needs to develop on the top, and I will tell you why in just a second. But you want to just let it go, let it just grow, and it will get thicker, and it'll start to take on kind of a gelatin feel. I showed you before, I think, when I was cutting up the mother to put in these jars, that it was like a gelatin mass. And this is not yet. This is really, really thin, kind of sticky. This is starting to get a very vinegary smell. A few days ago, before we strained it out and put it in here, it smelled a lot like beer or like alcohol. This is starting to take on a more vinegary smell, and that's a good thing. That's what you want. So I'm still covering it. I'm gonna let it sit for a few more weeks, I think, but I'm still covering it with the coffee filter because that will keep any bugs out. If you're doing this at home, you'll probably have fruit flies. We have some fruit flies in our pantry, and I know they're annoying and I know that they're kind of a pest, but they're actually really good for your vinegar because they carry that yeast, that natural yeast that's in the air, and it's just everywhere outside, and that's what helps your mother to grow. These fruit flies also carry it on their feet, and when they land on the jar, on the paper, they drop it, and that yeast drops down into the cider vinegar, and that's what makes your mother grow. And so fruit flies are actually a good thing. They actually help progress your vinegar making further. If you didn't have that yeast, if you maybe lived someplace where you kept your windows closed all the time, or you kept these covered with like a plastic lid, and you didn't have fruit flies, you would have no mother develop because those yeast particles that are just naturally occurring would not be there to make that grow. Alright, so it's been a few weeks, and I'd say this is almost done. It's kind of at that point where you could let it go on a little bit longer, or you could take out the mother and store it and use it now. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to just take out the mother, and what I'll do is I'll put it in a clean jar with some of the vinegar just to keep it alive, keep it going, and that mother will get thick. It will grow and it will grow, and if I left it for say a few months, over the winter even, it would be massive, and that's a really good thing. So you can tell it's kind of thickened up a little. I mean, maybe you can tell. It's kind of thickened up a little bit. This one's pretty solid. This one's, I've just been moving this one around a little bit more. So I think that's why it's kind of wonky, but this one's pretty solid. Let's see if we can get a shot in there. So I'm gonna take this one out. I think I'll let this one go a little bit longer, but I'm gonna take this one out, and then I'll be able to use my vinegar for cleaning. I like to use it to clean my countertops. And that change that's happened is the first fermentation was changing the sugar into alcohol. The second fermentation was turning that alcohol into acetic acid, which is just science name for vinegar. So any vinegar that you get is gonna be acetic acid. This is just a homemade version of that. If you guys have any comments or questions, leave them down below and I will try my best to answer them. If you have a different process for doing this, I'd love to hear it. This is super simple. It just takes time. And I mean, I think total, it probably takes about a month to 6 weeks to do, depending on how strong you want your vinegar. But it's super easy, and it's a good way to use up your scraps that would normally go just straight into the compost. It kind of adds a little bit to them. I like to give the scraps to the chickens, and then sometimes also I will cut up one of the mothers and put it in our chicken's feed or our dog's food. It just kind of helps boost their immunity a little bit, helps them, give them some good stuff. But mostly I like to use it for cleaning. So thanks for coming along with us today, and hopefully I'll be showing you some more things like this soon. We have a lot of projects going, a lot of kitchen stuff going on in the kitchen. So thanks for coming along with us, and we'll see you guys next time.